everyone. Welcome once again to our virtual visits. I'm David Mustonen, Director of Communications for the Dearborn Public Schools. Joining me on this special edition of Virtual Visits as we talk food service is our superintendent, Dr. Glenn Maleyko. Glenn, once again, thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you, Dave. Appreciate being here today on this cold day. This is not like spring weather that we're used to. Well, come on, help us out here.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe you should be outside. Like then we'll get the nicer weather, right?
Well, I tell you, I was out there the last time in the snow. I was not going to go back out there for the cold. So
yeah. Although the last episode, because we pre-taped it, we had you nice weather. We actually had cold weather, then nice weather.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah.
So like I said, today we're going to talk a little bit about food service and our food service program. And joining us is our Director of Food Service, Jeff Murphy, and from SFE, who is now part of the Dearborn Public Schools family as well, is Josh Bain. Gentlemen, thank you both for taking a few minutes to be with us today. And Glenn, I know you wanted to talk to them a little bit about, right off the bat, what we've been doing since March, since the closure of schools.
Yeah, so I know we also had a show probably about a month ago when we first launched the food service program under the governor's initial shutdown. We had Ms. Hyder here in the PTA who were volunteers who helped, but I want to give Jeff and Josh a lot of credit here. Right out of the gate, we jumped on it and we were closed officially on the 13th. We had the food service program ready to go on Tuesday, the 17th. So literally it was like within a day and over the weekend, they were working to get meals ready for the family. So Jeff, now we're into the end of April. We've been going for quite a while. I know the meals expanded over time. How has it been over this month and a half? And again, I want to give you and Josh and the entire food service staff a lot of credit under your leadership. A lot of success. The families, feeding a lot of families out there. I know we're getting close to maybe over 60,000 a week now at this point in time. And it's also challenging with you and your staff because I realize with being frontline workers and, the whole health issue. And so we appreciate your entire staff. So how's that been, Jeff, going the last month?
Well, it did start out a little rough, but, we've got 7 sites where we're feeding currently over 65,000 meals now a week. Wow. So it's really taken off. I have to say, thanks to all of our food service staff that stepped in, and they are doing a great job, as well as all the volunteers. We just couldn't get by without it. But I think we're doing a great job for the community. And, the people who are involved right now are people who just, it comes from the heart. They know that our kids need to be fed, and they're doing it. So I'm very, very, very proud of our department.
Yeah. Well, I was impressed that first week too. I did visit all the sites and just saw the operation in a short time frame. And I know the families were very appreciative too, to provide that. I mean, I think the governments really rely on us in the schools. I mean, now that's actually part of our continuity of learning plan. You must have the food service distribution in order to receive the funding. But we started right away. We didn't hesitate because we knew it's the right thing to do regardless of the continuity plan. We knew that our families, there was a need out there. And so I know that, your staff and everyone has been working hard and providing that support within the community. So, what are the different roles and how does that go at the different locations? Josh, what is the system in place? Because obviously we're dealing now, and you kind of have a national perspective from SFE. You see what's going on nationally, but what are the protocols that we have in place to ensure, first of all, that we're providing meals? Secondly, what are the protocols for, families to receive those meals?
Sure, absolutely. So schools nationwide are doing what we're doing here, being creative and doing what they can to meet the needs of their students. We have slightly different systems at each site just based on kind of building layout. We have some that are drive up where families can actually pick up the meals without getting out of their cars. And then others are, they come up to a designated spot and we're careful to have no touch points or other areas like that. At each site, we have a person that's kind of our point for the endeavors. So huge shout outs to those 7 ladies who are leading our teams. They've done a phenomenal job. Some of them have been managers for decades and others have been doing this for a few weeks. So they've really stepped up to the plate and are doing a phenomenal job pushing out a ton of food. And like Jeff said, we could not be doing what we're doing without the volunteers. They're really the people kind of making that point of contact with the community, actually distributing the meals, while our staff is really behind the scenes, making sure we're putting out high quality food in a safe manner.
So, and Josh, you may be able to address this as well. Like as you said, around the country, schools are doing this. Each district with unique needs and unique ways of doing it. Here in Dearborn, we are about to enter into the month of Ramadan, a great month here in Dearborn that also offers some challenges as far as a little change in how we're distributing the meals, because there is kind of a shift to when people are eating now, at least for the next 30 days. How are we addressing that at the 7 individual sites? Is it happening at all 7 sites, or are there just changes going on at certain places?
Yeah, great question, David. So, in kind of talking to our building administrators and community members, we made the decision to shift some of our sites to a different service time going into this next week. So that will actually be starting this Friday and then moving forward for the next month. So Fordson, McCullough Eunice, Salina Intermediate, and Woodworth will all be distributing meals from noon to 2 for the next month, while Dearborn High, Edsel, and O.L. Smith will remain serving from 10 to 12. And just wanted to remind community members that you can go to any site in the district, regardless of which school your students attend.
Well, and I just add, I appreciate that too, really accommodating the community. And thank you, David, for mentioning it. I want to say, and I'm sure we all do, Ramadan Mubarak to all the families out there, and hope they have a blessed and safe month and healthy month of Ramadan. So Jeff, we're talking about food. What are the meals? So what is the menu, I guess? I mean, I know we cannot provide the same kind of menu we would in the school, but what is the menu that we're able to provide for the families and the students?
Well, there's a variety of food. We try to keep it to where it's not necessarily hot meals, just because of the temperature and timing and those things. So there's a lot of things between. In most cases, it's a breakfast and lunch in one bag. There's yogurt involved, string cheese. We've got, I know Bosco sticks, some of the things that the kids are familiar with, but really we want to make it so that when it gets home, they don't have to necessarily worry too much about, how long it sits at their house. So it's a good variety. And we get feedback from our kitchen people as to what the community is looking for. There's hummus involved, tuna, a lot of different varieties.
Wonderful. Well, I'm getting hungry. Unfortunately, we're virtual here, or I'd be asking you to maybe have a taste tester.
Some free samples. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, David, see? Yeah, hey, you got the right idea there for sure. So, well, David, this is great, I think, with what we're doing and what they're doing. But I think a lot of this also, and I know that you're aware, this started a long time ago with our whole switchover. I know right now we didn't expect to be in the COVID-19 crisis several years ago, but several years ago, we did make that decision. And Jeff, you were part of it. I know, David, you've been part of the conversation at the district level as far as how we wanted to, enhance our meal production and bring in extra resources. And I think it's important to mention too, that just so that everyone knows, as we're going into potential budget issues, that our food service budget is totally separate by law from the general fund that pays for instruction of students. I think that's an important factor. And I know when we were looking at those things, Jeff, years ago, studying what we may do, is that we had money in that. We're not looking to make a profit or anything in the food service per se. We just want to serve our students. And that's why we decided to contract out with a company that could bring in additional resources, under your leadership. And I think that partnership between you and Josh, I've seen it really positive, and it's been fantastic from my aspect. I know it was an adjustment, but that's the one thing I get is very positive, across the district about the whole program. So how has it been for you, Jeff, with this whole transition? And we're probably in a 4-year process now that started with our students. I remember you being at that meeting at Dearborn High when we started the discussion. So how has that gone?
Well, I can tell you, Josh and his entire team have been just incredible. I mean, I look back at it now and look at, how big our district, third largest district in Michigan, and handling all the different things of it, of what happens in a food service department, and now having the support to do the things that really improve so many things for the students. And that's what we're here for, is to take care of the students. And Josh and his team, with their help, it's really been an incredible year.
Wonderful.
And for you, Josh, coming from, I know you're not a native of Michigan, but you seem to fit right in. You seem to be a native of Michigan, just the way you have fit in here in Dearborn and fit in and just become part of this Dearborn Public Schools family so quickly. How has that transition been for you and your team, and how has it been here in Dearborn for everybody at SFE?
Yeah, absolutely. It has been, a whirlwind of a year, and COVID-19 was the curveball none of us expected.
Sure.
But it's been really great just jumping into new state, new community, and really being embraced. Dearborn is a really unique community. It's a close knit community, and it's been really wonderful just being welcomed and being able to do everything we can to really improve the student experience. Jeff and I have been able to work really closely, and every day we're just looking to do what's best for the students. And so we've been able to introduce a lot of variety into the menu. We have a couple of chefs here on staff that are able to not only develop our kitchen staff, but do some different experiences with students, from cooking classes, nutrition education, things like that. It's really been an exciting year, and look forward to getting back to normal and kind of picking the ball back up and running with it.
Yeah, we're very happy, and I know our district, we just approved the renewal of the contract at the last board meeting for another year. And I don't know, Josh, if you were, you talk about jumping in, but you had no trouble jumping right into that board meeting. I remember when we were like, who's that coming in? It was exciting when our first virtual meeting, and we're like, oh, Josh, you're there. Oh, it's Josh. Okay, all right. He just fits in with everybody. He has no hesitation there, right?
I just wanted to participate. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Though very excited, eager, right? We like that. We like
that's
that.
a good
Go-getter.
word. We'll use that.
Yeah. So, well, I appreciate you gentlemen and the work. And again, going back to your department and the whole community for coming together. And it's so important that we feed our families during, our students during this crisis. And so, thank you for the work you're doing.
Yeah, thank you both for joining us. We appreciate it very much. Once again, during the month of Ramadan, there will be 4 locations: Fortson, McCullough Eunice, Salina Intermediate, and Woodworth will have their food pickup at noon to 2. The other locations, Dearborn High, O.L. Smith, and help me out, Etzel Ford.
Yes.
They will remain 10 to noon. And we have all that information up on our website, so that if anyone needs that clarified, they can check it out there, dearbornschools.org, or go to the First Bell, which is our news and information website, where you can find out all that great information, and we'll keep you updated on any changes that may occur with the food distribution program. Gentlemen, thank you all for joining us today. We appreciate it all very much. It's been another very interesting and informative virtual visit with all of you. And until next time, be safe.